Let's create a value study based on this portrait by John Singer Sargent. I started with a small, rough line drawing, and I've picked my first value group, which is my darkest dark. That group will appear on the clothing, basically. So I'm filling all of this area in with full, like, darkest 2B. And here it's okay because it's not black, like choosing black in Photoshop, which is really extreme. If I have another medium, I could go much darker than this tone I'm creating with the 2B. So it's okay to push it because I want to use the full range. And I'm making a bit of an effort to keep the shape clean. So keeping my edges quite defined. So when I'm adding other shapes of other values, I'm less likely to get confused about what is what. Okay, so your drawing should look about the same now. Where else can we use that first value group?
In the hair on the top left and on the very top.
Like here?
Yeah, and on up there, exactly.
Here, probably, yeah. I would not use it in the face. That's probably going to be our second darkest group. Also over here. Yeah, this can either go in the first or the second group, and this probably too. But I would tend to leave this in the second group. But over here, yeah, that can go in the first group. Just estimating proportions, not that important to get it perfect. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll leave it at that for now. And I see that in the color, there are also some lighter tones that I've now all absorbed into my darkest group. So maybe I'll have to lighten that slightly in the end if I want a separate group here. But for now, that's also fine. So let's go one step lighter. And here you will probably find it's easier, it's less work if you start a little bit too light. So one level up would be the background. It's going to be better if this is too light and I darken it in a second pass than if I start out too dark. So I'm going to choose a value and color it in, and then assess whether that's a good choice or if I need to go darker.
Now, what do you plan on doing about that gradient in the background?
It's not by accident that I chose this image. Yeah. I will make a strategic gradient when we get there. So what do you think? Is that a good value or should we go darker? Squint, look at the reference image. I'm looking at the background here compared to clothing.
I think darker, right?
I think so too. We can also use this area here.
Well, you have two completely different values in the background on the right and on the left. So
yes, we will.
Now's the time to make a decision, I guess.
Yeah. I am not happy with this yet. Like, I already know this needs to go darker, so I don't want to open the complexity of having, like, introducing another group. So I'll hold off on that. But yes, soon we're going to choose this group. But I know it's going to have to go darker, so I'll do that first. Now we have two groups only to deal with. Or maybe three, because the lightest is already defined. That's going to be the color. But I am not smart enough to have everything half decided. So I'm going to keep it simple and decide the things that I know have to be decided first, and then add more complexity with a stronger base. Like that. I'm squinting. It's better. I'm noticing it's lighter up here than down here. So I'll take care of that. My groups will be consistent. Wherever I use that group number 2, I want to use the same value. So that's going to be the side of the face to here, including the ear, including the temple and that hair, eye, a little bit of eyelid shadow. And then this lapel or collar looks very similar to the background here. So if we have a lighter group here, then that's going to be together. But we have darker tone here, that can be the same. Up to the chin, that's still group number 2. All of the nose. Maybe that tiny shape in the mouth between the lips can be group number 2 as well. The eye on the right feels like it's more similar to the background. I bring the pointer back here. This stuff feels more close to this background than to this tone in the shadow. So I'll wait with that eye. What about hair? Can we use that same group in the hair? Yes, I think so. My forehead is a bit big, so I'm going to make a line. This is going to be a lighter group here. There's that zigzag shape of light. So this is important too. I'm losing here the side of the head and the background. That is a good thing. Right here. If you are losing parts of your image because you're grouping things, that's good. That means you've made decisions of unifying, absorbing different parts of the image into one value group. And in oil painting, that will also be nice for the final image if you have some passages like that, some lost edges. What else can we still do with 2 groups only? I think this part of the hair can go darker, a little bit of forehead. Do your images, or I guess I ask you individually, does your image only have 3 values? The white of the paper, the darkest dark, and this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Keep it like that. With the unity, the clarity of your groupings. Now I think we are ready to add one more value group. Make this slightly darker so it matches my group number 2 better. Now I think we need to add the background. So that's group number 3. Again, starting a little bit too light. I have not erased yet. And if I can, I'll keep it that way, because erasing means more work.
Now we could take the 2H.
Not yet. We're too dark. For me, personally. 2H is going to take longer, like make me slower. But yeah, you could. Okay. How is that? I feel like the light of the face and the background, the lighter background on the left, are too similar. Like my face is not popping off of the background enough. So I think we should darken the group number 3. Darken the swatch and then start pushing that closer to group number 2.
I think group number 2 could be darker, no?
How are you making that decision or assessment? What are you comparing?
On the right side of the painting, the background is darker than on the left side. And now you have them almost the same.
Okay, yeah. It's getting better though, right? As I darken this.
No, the right side has to be darker.
Okay, How is the the clothing here compared to the background on the right? If I make the background darker, are they getting too similar, or do we still have room to make this darker?
I think you have room, but
Yeah, I think so too, a little bit. So on my drawing, I'm going back to group number 2 and just pushing it a little more. And everywhere. And up here, I've made a strategic gradient. I've chosen here, it is fine to have one group turn into another group softly. And actually, I have a bit too much space in my composition, but it's a value study, so that's okay. So now wherever I had group 2, I need to go darker. And yeah, this color definitely has too much contrast now. So group number 3 can go darker. And where else can we use group number 3? Next to the mouth. Cast shadow on the mustache, maybe. The shadow inside the eye on our right. That is group number 3, not group number 2. This cast shadow of the hair. Little half-tone shape. Okay, so we have a 4 value study. If we add a 5th, we can also distinguish between the super bright, let me use this pointer here, very bright white color and the rest of the face. See how much darker the whole face is than this? So if we add another group, I would make that group face, like average face. And then maybe the highlight area up here we can spare out, that can stay paper, but everything else in the face, and maybe now we can go to 2H. Just knocking it down a little bit. And if I had to do a drawing now in charcoal or pencil or oil, like a master copy, I would feel much more confident of doing that because I have understood the big value relationships. That's the whole point of doing a value study. And it's not so much an assignment to do like as part of this course, but something that you can make part of your process. If you're doing a portrait, if you're doing any painting from observation, to do a tiny sketch like this, it's really a postage stamp, a big postage stamp size. You can make them a bit bigger, but this is enough. We'll change so you can see more.
The value study of a portrait, we never at the pupils of the eyes, right?
Not at this scale, but if it's bigger, I probably would. And here, that would be group number 1. So depending on how big you have made yours, you could add the pupils in group number 1. That's even a nice touch on this scale. I think I need my group 4, face in light, or like face average, can even go a little bit darker. And then I have this light section in the hair that definitely is too light. I think that can also be value group 4, same as the face. And that would be it. I would be happy with this as a value study.